Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby here on Optimum Game Day Live. We will do our spots real quick today. All-American Eatery. Gary and I were there yesterday. Yep. Always good. And it's out at Wolford, too. And right by the Goodwill place, but out on Toke Highway. It's one of Coach Kittley's favorite places to eat.
Great service.
Absolutely. They're awesome, aren't they?
He never invites us, but sometimes we'll show up out there, and there he is with Matney and his coaches and all that.
I'll get Matney to invite y'all next time.
Well, y'all don't have room.
He's listening right now.
Y'all don't have room for us.
I told him I was coming on with y'all, and he said he's going to get in his pickup and listen.
Good. Bob, be careful out there now. All right, and Tide Dry Cleaners for dry cleaning and laundry done differently. You need to try them 4511 98th and 19th and Quaker. Lubbock Sports Medicine, the great team of doctors. Go to LubbockSportsMed.com and check them out. You'll love this team of doctors and their PAs and everybody there. And Mighty Wash, and everybody needs a car wash now. Yeah. So go buy Mighty Wash and get you one.
And there'll probably be a line. Get in it because it doesn't take long to
Coach Kittley's got a coach's card. He's got a coach's card for Mighty Wash.
Hey, David, before we go on, you remember Richard Bowles?
Yep.
And the name Richard Bowles should ring a bell because he's the fella that Coach Magel pinch hit in the state championship game. He was a sophomore, and he's sitting over on the bench, and Coach Magel puts him in, hits a 3-run homer, and they win the state championship 4-3. Well, he's had a trouble with alcoholism and all. And tomorrow night at Monterey Church of Christ at 6 o'clock, they're calling it Addiction and Recovery in a Song. And he and a lot of local artists, he's a guitar-playing, singing man now. They've got a deal tomorrow night at Monterey Church of Christ at 6 o'clock, so go out and support those folks.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
That's good they're doing that. Yeah.
Yes.
Coach Kittley, welcome. Good to have you here. Hall of Honor. How about that deal?
That was pretty neat, let me tell you. I'm still pretty much on high and humbled by it. Listen, it was an incredible night. Some super people went in, the Hall of Famers, and then to be able to be inducted while I'm still coaching, just really unbelievable special.
That is something. You got caught up with Corky.
I did. Well, Corky introduced me to Matney. Courtney introduced me to Terry and Linda Fuller. I mean,
who hasn't he introduced you to?
Who does he not know? He's
unbelievable.
But, he's done a bunch. Mookie even said to me, I ran track. He said,
did?
People don't know that. You know I ran track? I said, nobody, don't surprise me.
Well, Amanda Dowdy, I don't think anybody in the room knew
she
that
was never going to brag on herself. She come out and was high jumping in high school, and I knew it, and I said, I'd asked, hey, why don't you come out? You can score for me at the Big 12. And she's like, okay. So she come out and got 6th place and first team all Big 12.
I had her winning, so she finished 6th. I'm sorry, but still a great story.
But I mean, literally walked off the volleyball court, came out there, did a couple approaches, and goes to the meet.
How about that? It was that time.
I wanted to brag on her last night.
Well, you did, I heard, and that was good.
Proud of her.
But hey, I want to give you a chance to brag on something else because when they started that video up. Usually when kids talk about their dad, it's usually at his funeral, before they get to spend a little time, other than I love you, Dad. But they got to spend a little time telling you how much they loved you and all that, and that was a touching part of the evening.
Yeah, it got me. I mean,
I didn't know you had that many kids.
You didn't know I had that many kids.
Yeah. How many you got?
I got 3 boys. But then those boys gave me those wonderful daughter-in-laws, and then those daughter-in-laws gave me 8 grandkids.
Oh, my gosh, Wes, that's awesome.
I thought that video would be, maybe Jonathan Johnson or a couple of my athletes or something like that, which there was Jason Young and Sean Harris and a bunch of kids, but when they put my wife and my boys and then my grandkids,
and those grandkids stole the show.
It got to me.
I bet it did.
It was special. It really was.
Well, I wish I could have been there. It's really a cool deal. Is it on where I could go watch it on TV somewhere?
Well, they couldn't stream it because all the cameras were over at the basketball game.
I see.
Otherwise, and this is just me, but that's just another basketball game, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
You're not playing Duke. And this is your best of your best out there.
Yeah.
But they can't do it, I think, because of contractual deals with ESPN.
Would have been good.
couldn't do it, but it would have been
Cory
good.
Carr, everyone told me how great a player he was, and he graduated the year before I came.
Yep.
But I've
He
heard
was.
unbelievable stories about him. And, of course, Danny Amendola, I got to watch.
Yeah.
While I was here. I got to see that live, but incredible.
Well,
And
you can
Taylor,
watch him on Tuesday nights.
Oh, exactly. I haven't been doing that, but I may now to watch him to see.
On Dancing with the Stars. Is he still on that? That's still going on?
Oh, yeah, he's
I think he's
still
trying to
in
win
there.
it.
Oh,
I'm sure he is.
he darn
Tuesday
sure
night.
might, because let me tell you what, he's a fine-looking fella, but his partner is as shiny as they come.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of guys out there voting for, I think her name's Whitney or Courtney.
Was
or
she there last night?
Something. Didn't see her.
Oh, my gosh. They could have
Didn't see her.
danced. That would
But
have been great.
that old boy just might win the darn thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's always fun, and everybody made it back. Everybody was there. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, they were.
That's so good. And just to see the love they have for Texas Tech.
Oh, yeah, and I had two of mine, Ife Okafor and then Omo Osaghae, who you all knew well at Monterey. And, there's a Books kid, not to embarrass him, and he turns out to be a world champion 3 times and Big 12 champion, All-American, and right here in Lubbock. And, I'm just so proud of him.
By books, what do you mean?
I gave him books. In other words, he's nearly a walk-on.
Oh.
But I didn't. You only have 12 scholarships. We don't give big scholarships to a lot of kids. It's the beginning. But I'm so proud because we developed. We developed him.
Oh, yeah.
But he's also, just a fabulous kid. And, man, Lubbock, Texas loves this place like I do.
World champion.
World champion 3 times.
3 times.
And people he's still the school record holder.
Is he really?
Still the school. I got some fabulous hurdlers, but he's still holding on right now.
Well, and you got a track that's probably faster than the track he ran on.
Absolutely. He
that
had
makes
to
a
run in the
difference.
bubble.
No way.
Yes, he did. But
Oh, God.
anyway,
You had to put the brakes on in the bubble because you ran out of room in a hurry.
Here's
in the
the
bubble.
funny part. We thought it was awesome. We didn't know
You were so happy, weren't you?
when you're from Rule or Paducah like Matney, we think anything's much better.
I know it.
You know what it was? It was for that time. It was
Listen, I'm at Abilene Christian, jealous as heck.
Yeah.
This was my dream job. That indoors, I thought it was everything.
Yeah. And then now you got.
And now we got
Okay,
this.
now here's the question, Wes. Go 10, 15 years, 20 years down the road, we're going to say, you remember that cruddy deal we had over here? That was horrible.
I don't think so. I don't think you can get much better than that. That's the fastest track in the world.
Is it
And
really?
yes, and it's just phenomenal. I'm so thankful to have it. And Jim Sal and all the exes that helped me, he gave he doesn't like saying it, but he gave a bunch of million. To get me started, and he said that's going to Wes. That's what he told Kirby. Football can raise money, but track has a hard time. I'm giving my money.
That's another neat
That's
thing
so
about
awesome.
last night.
So
your kids got to brag on you, but you got to thank some people that have been instrumental
absolutely
in helping that track. Now, obviously, you're the pilot, you're the main guy, but Matney and
you guys
Fuller,
been around. You all been around a long time. You cannot do this thing by yourself. And if I had never had them to help me and for people to see, wow, Texas Tech is serious about track. Texas Tech is serious about their athletics program. And just Gerald giving me the opportunity. Bob Kitchen is one of the greatest coaches ever, Texas Tech grad. He had interviewed. I didn't mention him last night specifically, but Gerald picked me out. I was a 40-year-old Division II coach, and I'm just –
I think once again we can go back to Corky. I think
Corky,
Corky,
absolutely.
Because believe me, Gerald had heard from Corky about.
Listen,
Wes
I'm at
Kittley.
Abilene Christian in the cafeteria. We called it the Bean, and I'm looking up and
The Bean,
the Bean, BEAN, like the bean, like to eat. And I'm just eating lunch there every day. And here come this Banny Rooster bouncing in there. Hey, Wes, you want that track job at Texas Tech? And he had come through Abilene to find me. And I said, well, Corky's saying it in front of all my coaches and everything.
Say, no, not interested.
And I walked outside and I said, oh, man, that's my dream job, Corky. And he said, I've already told Gerald. And then, Jim Sal had been at Abilene Christian. He went to church with one of the president's son, and they were building a tennis building, and the son had asked 10 millionaires to give them $250,000 to build a $2.5 million building. Well, they had built it, and we were thanking them, those 10 donors. And I, by luck, got assigned to host Jim Sal.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
I'm at Abilene.
Good Lord.
And I'm meeting him there, and they said, well, Wes, this is Wes Kittley, the head track coach, and my AD did, and then after he turned around, he said, you need to be at Tech. Jim South said that to me at the luncheon. The very next year, I'm here.
Tech. Well, of course, we didn't mention, it wasn't like that.
Look here.
He was
walking up.
At Abilene Christian.
Never seen him move that slow.
And that's Ron. Pick it up. So he didn't mention that he had won 19 national championships at ACU.
Well, I was, Gerald changed the Kittley life in our family. And then Jim Sal, Terry Fuller, and Bob Matney, they've just taken us under our wing. We love them, and they're so good to our family.
Yeah.
And then this is my people, man. This is where I want to be. That's what was so special for me last night, to be able to get inducted while I'm still coaching, and that goes against the rules of what the thing was. I'm just so humbled and so thankful, man. Just great. It's still the school record holder right there.
Still the school record after all these years.
How many years, Omo? How long has it been?
Well, we got.
Oh, he didn't have a headset on yet. Hang on a second. You got to put.
Yeah, we're at 2011, 13 years now.
Yeah.
And going.
13 years.
Yeah.
Hey, what could you have done if you'd have had this deal over here?
Oh, my goodness.
I'd like to see him run on that one.
It'd be good to run 60 instead of 55.
Absolutely.
Why don't we go over at the show after they let you run over there?
All right, I might need
I think he could do it.
I might need an extended warm-up, but I'll do my best out there.
Well, good to have you here, buddy.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back home.
What year did you get out of Monterey?
0506.
0506.
Yeah.
All right. It's just after us, me and Gary.
Yeah, just right after.
Yeah,
I missed the door.
I was 71. He was 73. What year did you get out of Rule?
77.
Oh, my gosh.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby. I'm David Thetford. Gary Ashby's here. Wes Kittley, Hall of Honor coach at Texas Tech, and so much more. Omo Osaghae is down here now. Monterey Plainsman. Monterey won district in football.
Yeah, we've been keeping tabs on it.
Just won it. And he's an All-American at Texas Tech in the hurdles. And great to have you here. Congratulations on your Hall of Fame entry.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I love coming back home. Good to get inducted with my coach here. It makes me really, really happy. And Efi was good to get inducted with her, too. And see a lot of
looking good.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, really, really good.
Can't believe she's a shot putter, could you?
Right.
That's what I was telling David. It reminded me of Dan Irons. He's an offensive lineman out here. And then about 3 years later, you look and go, that looks a lot like Dan Irons.
He's got scrawny on
He's scrawny. She looked scrawny last night. Anyway, she looked great.
Yeah.
Where are you living now?
I'm in Austin.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah.
Do you wear burnt orange around?
Oh, no, yeah.
They got a school down there, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. The good thing being in Austin, everybody knows very clearly the colors that I fly. Everybody is very, very aware.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I'm happy to spread the scarlet and black behind enemy lines. So,
there you go. Well, it is enemy lines.
Yeah,
not as enemy now that we're not in the same conference.
Not so much, but still like to rub it in a little bit every now and again, right?
Yeah. We're about to talk about your biggest wipeout ever in the hurdles, because Coach Kittley said if you run the hurdles, you've had wipeouts.
Yeah, you've had more than one. I would say probably the biggest wipeout. I had a pretty good one here at practice at the bubble.
The bubble.
Yeah, I had a pretty good one there. I was kind of shocked I got back up. Maybe my biggest wipeout might have been in Nationals.
Oh.
I think senior year.
11.
Yeah, I think that was probably very public for everybody to see. But I think that was probably the biggest wipeout. It didn't. It came with a lot of because we had some really big aspirations that year, and we had a really good first leg of the meet, so we were doing some really good things, and I think just the culmination of that wipeout and kind of not finishing the deal
Yeah,
like we planned
what it meant.
to. Yeah.
meant.
That was definitely it, because I bounced back up and I finished the race, no big deal. Leg hurt, pride hurt a little bit more, right? We had some good things we wanted to do that year, but yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest one.
I got you. Well, you did so many great things.
Thank you.
So many.
He was world champion 3 times also.
World champion.
Yes. So that's
of the world.
You get like a medal, you get a ring, you get an attaboy. What do you get for?
You get a medal.
he got a little bit of money.
A little bit of money,
That's what helped.
You get a little bit of money. You get a really cool medal. Me and my good friend Calvin Smith, he's a Florida Gator. We were sharing a hotel room, so it was cool. You get back to the room and they have these really cool like plaques that they put on your door. So if I got gold and he got bronze, then they kind of match it up on the door. But it was really cool, and it was 2 golds and it had a really cool USA track and field message on it. So that was really cool when we got back, whatever time we got back after drug testing. It was pretty cool.
All right, now world champion, when you go to the next meets, do they have to pay you more money to come to those meets?
Yeah, we call that an appearance fee. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's not too bad. You get a little bit of recognition. That's cool. It's not too shabby.
Now, is that like everything else? It was pretty good back then, but it's like unbelievable now, or is it pretty much the same now?
I think for now it's still pretty much status quo. Yeah, too much hasn't changed there. I know that a lot of the professional athletes want things to kind of get on a more regimented budget as far as the diamond leagues and how the big things work. But, yeah, it's pretty much the same now.
All right, we got NIL now, and Coach Kittley was just telling us about what he threw at you to come out to Tech. And he said he gave you books.
Yeah.
Books.
Not for long.
Well, as soon as I found out how expensive books were, it was a bigger deal than I thought it was.
It was a real big deal getting books. Still is. They're so expensive.
I had no idea until, we went to go pick them up, and you just see the charge. And it's like, I don't have this much money. I never have.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach Kittley.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, we need to get together with some people and get you some NIL money from back in the day.
Yeah, we got some back
catching up,
right? Yeah.
We start doing that, we'll be in trouble.
It's a little backlogged. We've got to catch up some. That'd be great. I wouldn't mind it.
What are you doing? So go ahead, Gary.
No. That's a good question. What are you doing now? Because you're like highly intelligent. Your parents were.
My dad.
I don't know so much about Julie, but but I visited with your brother and sister last night. They seem highly intelligent.
Yeah, my dad was, of course, he was a professor here at Tech, so that's where we get a lot of it from, right? They always took education very seriously. Right now, I'm in medical device sales, so I do that in Austin, and I kind of just work the whole Central Texas area. So I'm in Austin and San Antonio and Temple and all the areas.
What kind of medical devices?
Laboratory things. So. Our lab is based out of Baltimore, Maryland, or Reisterstown, Maryland. So offices will send us like their samples. We'll send them supplies. They'll send us like their samples of all the different type of like microbiology tests that they do.
Well, the work ethic you learned at Monterey and Texas Tech has to come in handy in that particular line of work because it's effort.
One thing that I always tell everybody, obviously with Coach Morton back in our day when he was the head coach, I just remember how hard off-season was and Plainsman days and all the things that we went through. And when I got to Tech, we had a few other coaches there, and it was equally as challenging, but I think Monterey really set me up for it because even though it was really hard, obviously coming from a football player in track and then just purely track, just meeting a whole lot of just purely track athletes, there was a little bit of a transition that was hard, but I think those super challenging days at Monterey definitely really, really helped out.
And your brother played football at Tech.
Yeah.
Did that ever cross your mind to play football?
It did because football was my first sport. So I always thought about maybe I should try and walk on here because I feel really, really good about it. And of course, a lot of the football players at the time from this area, Midland Lee, Odessa Permian, like all the schools. So I knew him very well. Yeah. Barron Batch, right? All these different players. Barron came out and ran with us for I think a year, right? One year. Yeah. I kept trying to convince him through all of our summer school classes, like Barron, we need you just 4x1, just something real quick. We just need you for a little bit.
Just for a minute.
Just for a little bit. But, I thought about it for a lot, but I had my hands full with the track, just trying to keep my head above water when I was younger. So.
Well, I think that probably made the difference.
I think so, too.
Concentrating on the track.
I think so, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right. Coach Kittley, tell us about Omo. I mean, was he did he become what you thought he would, or did you see it, that there was a possibility he'd be this great?
Yeah, I watched him one time out here at the regional meet, and then went to the state meet that year and watched him, and he was running around 14 flat, high 13.9, but I just, what I thought, wow, he had a 21.5-ish, maybe 200, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's impressive to me. So I knew he could be good, yes, and I just thought that this is a really good kid that can maybe run on the 4x1. He definitely could run maybe the 200 and the 110 hurdles. I mean, with 12 scholarships in 21 events, you're trying to get somebody to do more than one thing, which he did.
Yeah.
But, no, I had done it a lot, and I knew he had good speed. And when you have good speed in hurdles, man, it's just a matter of time getting better technically.
How's that one of those meets out here, regional meet out here, and I was watching Omo. and he missed going to Austin by 1/100th of a second.
Yes.
Sophomore
That's
year.
when you realize right then, and that might have helped you, because you go, okay, if only I had done this, that 1/100th of a second, I might be going to Austin.
Yeah, I still remember
that.
It was a kid from Abilene Cooper. I still remember.
I did
barely edged me out. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that day for sure.
Okay.
Just barely missed it.
All right, the next junior and senior year, did you go to Austin?
Yeah. Junior year, such a fun time. Me and Zach were actually talking about it. That was such a fun year. Trying to just rise to the occasion. Young me thought I can just continue to run faster and faster every meet if I just put a little bit more effort into it. And I'll eventually catch up with the Jason Richardsons and Jamar Charles and all those really good athletes that did pro football and pro track and field too. And I remember I failed. That was my first time ever falling. I failed my junior year at state. Right? My claim to fame, me and Zach were talking about it last night. I was ahead of Jamal Charles, who was the number 1 hurdler in Texas, before I fell. So I felt pretty good as I could before falling. So I wasn't too far behind him, or I was a little bit in front of him. But, that was junior year, senior year. Race against Robert Griffin III, right? He was one that just kind of came out of nowhere for me from Copper's Cove. And Oscar Spurlock, who ended up at USC, they went 1, 2, and 3, and I was third. So senior year capped off a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it helps me get him by getting third.
In fact,
Because if he'd have run really fast, because I didn't have much money.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm giving him nothing as it is, but I wanted him badly because we just didn't have much scholarships that time. But I think it all was kind of just worked out in my favor.
Well,
and, I know he's a Lubbock kid, and he I think that helps.
Yeah.
His dad's a professor at Tech.
Yes, absolutely.
That helped.
Well, a lot of kids want to leave Lubbock just to get away from, maybe they have a bad family situation or a bad. But he has a wonderful family situation. He probably wanted to stay.
Yep.
I would think.
It was easy when they came knocking.
Yeah.
Took an official visit just because.
At
At that point, I was pretty convinced I was going to come to Tech and didn't even entertain going anywhere else for any visits. So I took the visit here just to have a good time and see what was in store, really.
All right, we're about to go to a break. I'm going to try to tell his sister, Julie. She's a trackster, too.
Oh,
She's
yes.
a thin clad at Monterey, and they're running in the at Evans Junior High. They're running in the city meet, and she's the anchor leg. Of course, she's the fastest. And here comes my niece, Courtney, and she's got the baton, and she's going to hand it to Julie. And Julie's trying to wait, and finally she just says, "Screw it." Took off running without the baton, and wound up winning, but finishing last.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Can't wait any longer.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, real quickly, I'm running down these senior benefit solutions. Y'all, now is the time for Medicare. You've seen all these commercials. Get a hold of Laurie Kasler. She can help you. Senior Benefit Solutions of West Texas. The Owen Group is Mac Owen. What a great team he has in advertising. He can help you make your business better. Lubbock Truck Sales, thanks to the Kinsey family and Cody and James and the whole group and what they do with Lubbock Truck Sales just outside the loop on the Slayton Highway. And Fuddruckers at 66th and Milwaukee now. That's where you'll find it, right there at 66th in Milwaukee. And I think that's everybody. Las Brisas, don't forget about them. You're looking for a great place to go eat. Cory Carr is here with us. He has just been inducted into the Texas Tech Athletic Hall of Fame, and well-deserved. And we have his coach on the phone with us now, James Dickey. James, thank you for doing this.
Oh, David, good morning to you and Gary and Cory. Congratulations.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. I love you, sir. Good to hear your voice again.
Hey, I love you, and my deal is, what the heck did it take them so long for? That's what I want to know.
I hope it's my fault, Coach, because I never got back over here during the basketball season overseas.
It's called out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, this is my excuse, Coach.
No. Hey, if you don't get in for what you did while you were there, then I don't know what you get in for. Somebody's a little confused on that. I'm going to tell you that.
He's in there now, Coach.
Well, he should have been a long time ago, and this is well-deserved. And I'm so happy for Cory, happy for his mama, happy for his boys, his wife, his family. I mean, once this happened, it's something that's so important to the family because he's enshrined forever. It's a legacy, and it's well-deserved. And so his mother was such a a special lady, and his 2 boys now in the NFL, and his wife, and what he's done after he left is it's amazing, and you can tell I love this young man. I remember what he did for us and for the program, for Tech, for his teammates. One of the great competitors and great people that I've ever had the opportunity to coach.
He was, Coach. I can remember he was such a competitor. But Cory told me just a minute ago, he said that you were, Coach Dickey, everybody thinks he's just a sweetheart. He's so nice. And you are, Coach. You're outstanding with people. But you were kind of mean in practice a little bit, Coach. Is there any truth to that?
Well, let me say this. One of the great traits that Cory had is he was stubborn as he could be, but that made him a great player. And for us to say that we had a few exchanges, that would probably be an understatement.
I can hear that voice. Like, Cory, what are you doing? That's his thing.
What are you doing?
I don't know, Coach. Help me out here.
Oh, my. I tell you, but the thing about him, he wanted to get better. He wanted to be coach. He may not agree with you, and he was always respectful. But even though we might have disagreed on some things, we had a common goal of wanting to win and compete, and he wanted to get better. That's the one thing about Cory is that he wanted to improve his game. And, when you think back and you look at his career and the way that he accepted his role, how much he got better defensively, what a great rebounder. He was a spectacular athlete. He could score. He made game-winning shots. He had ice water in his veins at the free throw line. But he wanted to improve each year and every day in practice. And he came to practice to work.
That's cool. That's so great. Coach, that run that you had right there when Cory was here at Texas Tech, that's about as impressive as it gets. You guys were absolutely phenomenal, 30-2. And we talked about the Eastern Michigan game and how Cory said we'd probably won, but Coach kind of messed up on the end there. He didn't say that.
That was a terrible coaching job that I did at UTEP. So to make up for that, we came home and practiced 11 straight days. And
is that right?
Yes, that's true.
Oh yeah,
that's
the guy. We came home, and here's what happened. We came home from El Paso, and we practiced straight through. Back then, during the holidays, you didn't have any restrictions. And then we went to East Tennessee State, and we won, and we got snowed in over there. So we went from Lubbock to East Tennessee State, got snowed in, then came back and played TCU before we got back to Lubbock, and we won those 2 games. But you never saw a group of guys ready to get back to Lubbock because they were with me, locked in a hotel and in a gym for 11 days, and they were ready to get rid of the old coach. We were doing walkthroughs in the air. We had to bus to Knoxville, Tennessee to go from Knoxville back to Fort Worth, and I was getting the guys, and we were doing walkthroughs in the jetway at the airport. They were so pissed at me, I'm telling you what.
We needed that, Coach. That was a good lesson for us. And after that lesson, we didn't look back, Coach. So that was a good learning lesson for a young team.
They thought Earl Boykins was little, but gosh, he kicked our behind.
Him and Brian Tober, Coach. Him and Brian Tober.
Oh, my.
Remember that?
Sir. Yeah.
You're still mad about it.
Oh, I'm still angry.
You talk about they learned a lesson. The lesson was don't lose.
Yeah.
Don't lose.
Because they didn't lose again until they didn't have to worry about practice.
That's right.
The season was
That's
over.
right.
That's right.
They won.
That's right.
That group won 22 straight games after that. Had the longest winning streak in the nation. One of the things that people get, and it doesn't matter what league you're in, and Gary, you and David know this, Cory understands, it doesn't matter what league you're in. If you go undefeated in a league and then you win the conference tournament and you're undefeated, I mean, that's an unbelievable feat right there. And it didn't happen but very few times in the 75-year history of the Southwest Conference. That happened very few times. I'm going to say it happened probably 3 or less, maybe once by Houston, maybe once by Arkansas before that. But very few people had ever run the table, and this group was unbelievable. And after we got back from that road trip and at TCU, I just tried not to miss the bus because these guys were terrific.
You just turned them loose, couldn't you, Coach? They were battlers, I'm telling you.
They got tired of me asking, what in the heck are you guys doing? They got tired of me asking that.
That's right.
So they got it fixed. But that's Cory and I were talking off the air a minute ago about we'd like to get a matchup between that team and the team that went to the finals and just see how it would work out. If there was a way to put those guys back together again, I think it'd be so fun to see.
Well, I'll just tell you one thing. I love Chris Beard. He did an unbelievable job. They had a great run. But if you look back at that team now, they had 4 NBA players on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'll just leave it at that. And they had a lottery pick. They had a lottery pick, number 5, in Tony Batiste. That was a 7-footer.
Yeah,
that's right.
That group was special. It's not fair to compare teams, and
no.
I know people tried to do, but this group. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. People talk about there was a lot of talent, but our guys would defend, too. They would defend and rebound. Wimp Sanderson told me, I promised Cory I'd take him back to Arkansas if he'd play for us, so we went back and played Arkansas Little Rock in old Barton Coliseum. You remember that? And it was right after it was right after the state fair, Cory, and all the flies were still in there.
You remember that, Coach? Oh, my God.
Hey, we had to cut practice short, David. I never did that, but the flies were so bad. Hey, it's like going in the Coliseum after the circus or after the rodeo. No, I'm not trying to be funny. That's a true story.
That is, Coach. That is as true as it can get.
He couldn't practice because of flies.
He's right.
That's the first time I've even heard that.
But Wimp Sanderson, the next day, he goes, and we beat them pretty good. And they had 2 pros on that team. They had Derek Fisher, and who else they have, Cory? They had
the big guy, Dobbins, Montreal Dobbins, wasn't it?
Yeah, Montreal. They had Fisher, who the practice coach named after.
Right.
Well, we got him good, and Wimp came by, and he goes, I knew you guys were good, but I didn't know you could rebound and defend like you did. These guys they were a dominant rebounding team.
That is so fun. That is so fun to remember. Coach, you're amazing at what you remember.
Yeah, man.
You really are.
Hey,
that's the thing about us with Coach. We were always prepared.
Yeah.
Now, there's one thing that the players can be ready to go and you can have a good team, but the preparation.
Yeah.
And, preparation game in and game out with Coach, understanding our assignments, understanding the personnel that we were playing against, and then our guys coming together and going out and executing that game plan. So it was a number of things, but it started with Coach D and the assistant coaches preparing us on a weekly basis, and with all those things and the fire that we had, made something special.
Hey, Coach, we got 1 minute left, so you two tell each other how much you love each other for about 45
Gary,
seconds.
Let me, you and David understand this. Cory said a lot of wonderful things, but it's about one thing. It's about the players. I was a better coach when I had a player like Cory Carr.
That's exactly right, Coach. But
hey,
you were a good one.
I'll tell you what, we ran the old motion back then, and what he learned to do, he was so hard to guard. If you trailed him, he would curl. He would dunk on you or shoot a mid-range jumper. If you went over the screen, he was one of the best at bumping and fading. He could read the defense. He could read a screen better. I love that young man. I'm so proud of him. I'm happy that Texas Tech got him in the Hall of Fame. He's well-deserved. Cory, my best to you and your family. I hope your mom's recovering well. Give her a hug for me. Tell her she's still one of the best cooks. We had some wonderful meals at your house, man.
Thank you, Coach. I love you.
Hey, I love you, Cory.
See you.
I'll be in touch with you, Coach. I'll be in touch.
Thanks for being on, Cory. Cory, thank you for being
on. Thank you guys for having me. It's a real pleasure to see you gentlemen again.
Awesome, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live Saturday mornings from 9 to noon on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.